Well, let's explain what's going on. We'll let a few people come on. I'm going to check the sound while there's nobody here. Sound check, 1, 2. Can you talk?
I think anyone
Yeah, that's good. That's all.
can see that.
It's just like the last video.
We have to be on the same side, I think, for it to see both of us.
Yeah, I can't really lean over because I'll come over
We
there.
gotta be on this side. Alright, so we need that, and
Let's see. We have nobody watching. Cool. Popular channel. This is cool though. This thing is, no joke, has improved. Is this the same one?
same one.
That I
Yeah.
did all that winding and you.
Well, we're doing that today as well.
It's a great invention. I will say, like, it's ingenious. Exactly the right length, because every 10 feet you wanted a knot, and it was perfect. It's perfect the way you did that. Hey guys, welcome. We're in a special place. We're going to let some other people come on, but we've never shown where we are. We're at the new. I'll do it. You don't know what you're doing. I'm going to adjust my Dive Talk Go. I'd like to do it myself. My Dive Talk Go do an oxygen therapy machine for my back. So what I'm saying is, let me turn this a little bit. What I'm saying is that Mike sent a part. Is this what he said?
No.
I have no idea what he sent. The part that I was going to install, that Gus already installed, I was going to do it, but that's fine. I appreciate the favor. Basically, is going to make it so that my Dive Talk Go rebreather, right, because it's going to be an oxygen only sort of rebreather, but I'm going to use it on the surface. What I mean by that is when I plug the oxygen in, right, as I'm breathing, now when the ADV, the automatic dill valve fires, as you're breathing in and out and you're metabolizing oxygen and the lungs start to collapse, you breathe in, it fires the ADV, but now it's going to fire only oxygen. Why am I doing this? Oxygen therapy, baby, for my back. This, what Gus is working on, I'm going to hold the camera so I can show you. So that's the Dive Talk Go, which has now been converted, which I was going to do myself, but luckily Gus did it for me.
Sure, they believe you.
And I'm happy he did. I have no idea, by the way, what these connections changed, but I just know it's going to work. But that's the Dive Talk Go. And we're going to show you more about that because we're in our factory. Gus, I have to admit, set up a whole factory for us. I did exactly 0 of that. These are the counter lugs. I'm going to show you that in a second. These are all of our tools. I've never seen them until just now, and they're cool. And then we have drills, which I think are cool. But so I'm going to show you the factory first. Then I'm going to come back and show you his other invention for making line. I can't even, as much as I want to joke around and take credit for the line invention, I can't even stoop that low. He made it, and it is great. But anyway, this is our factory. I'll give you a tour. I'll show you the line invention thing in a second. This now turned the Dive Talk Go into an oxygen rebreather. Over here is a machine that I will absolutely love using.
Don't touch it.
To adjust intermediate pressure, supply pressure. Anybody? Oh yeah, you know you need to supply it for the flow meter to make sure that we're, in all joking around, is to make sure that our oxygen constant mass flow rebreather, the first stage is actually flowing the oxygen at the right IP pressure, because our rebreathers are mechanical rebreathers that have a constant mass flow. It's always trickling in a certain amount of oxygen. They're probably setting it to something like 0.7 liters a minute. I think that may be what they're setting it at. Works for most people, that's about the rate of oxygen that you metabolize. But you can see here that they have, that's probably a manual of stuff I'll never look at right there. Look at all that. Cool. Different like parts about how to do, build these rebreathers from scratch. So
maybe I give him the tour. Okay.
Good. That's a good idea. I'll show them this.
These are all the parts for the Go.
Okay.
We have, a good stock of, these are all the computer cables and ADVs, sorry, MAVs, no. DSVs.
DSV, that's good.
Yeah, great.
That's
great
the head of
technician.
engineering we have. What's that thing do?
That's an ADV, yeah, for the Pro ADV actually. This
Wow.
takes the Deep Six insights and allow you to, you know, change the strength of your ADV or the pressure that it takes to fire. So that's good.
He's doing about as good as I was doing.
That's okay.
No, he does know this stuff backwards.
So we have
Keep
this
going.
thing. So we installed this thing to test for leaks and stuff. This is a tub. Like I don't remember how many gallons, but you can put in any rebreather that we own. So the Spirit, the Sidewinder, the Go.
Very cool.
We can check for leaks in here, which is pretty cool.
And by the way, a lot of this is being done for maintenance, right? If you send it, it's not just
Correct.
us building the rebreathers, but we're going to have a whole maintenance.
Yep.
We'll do your maintenance, your annual maintenance on your rebreather.
So there's
okay,
a
keep going.
tons and tons of parts. So we
Oh, I know
want,
what those are.
you know, one of the things that we wanted to solve that we were frustrated, you and I, with is when you order a rebreather, it typically takes like 6 months for you to get it. And all manufacturers are like that. It's just like everybody's running so far behind. So we decided before we launched to actually order a bunch of parts to have it ready to ship. So you can see right here, there's about 40 Goes that are ready to go. Some of them are missing little things, like these ones, these 5 right here are missing the screens that hold the store together, so they're almost there. But for the most part, if you order a Go, if you're certified, you will get it within like days.
Very nice.
If not, your instructor will get it, and then you can go and get certified and get it. But you can see, for example, right here, all of these are second stages that we use to put together the ADV, the Pro ADV. It's by Deep Six. So you can see these are brand new Deep Six regulators that we use to build our ADVs. So we are fully stocked and ready to ship. Like,
Yeah.
place an order and get it.
DiveTalkGo.com is how you can order this rebreather. We have about 11 instructors, maybe 12 instructors now.
Yeah.
The Dive Talk Academy, that's the shirt I'm wearing, Dive Talk Academy, is, I would say by the end of next week to the week after, we'll be live. We're spending a whole week with our programmer starting next week. I'm just showing you some of the inventory of the Dive Talk Goes. So we're going to spend a whole week just doing that. Look, they got, looks like those are meters for the oxygen down there, plenty of all that stuff.
Those are SPGs, the SPGs that we have on the oxygen.
Oh, the
when
little
you-
baby ones, those are
when
cool.
when you order, you know, you get your SPG with the oxygen, or you can get transmitters as well. We are Shearwater vendors, so we can sell the computers and the transmitters. So all the parts are here, and you know, like we overbought in some cases. So you can see these are all the DSV
It's weird that
mouthpieces.
they're all orange. Those are nice.
Is that weird?
That's kind of
When
strange.
you place the order,
they make pink
you
ones,
just
but
get
there's
the best colors, I guess.
orange ones.
So yeah, I mean every single part is here, and this is our warehouse.
But
we
we-
also have a ton of storage. So like things like tanks. So like all of these boxes right here are tanks, O2 tanks. When you order your unit, we have a brand new tank, which is a 10.4 cubic feet tank that we custom made for the Go, because it's right in between the 6 and the 13.
You probably already have one, right?
Yeah.
I'd like to get one.
Okay,
eventually.
we'll hook you up. But all of these are tanks
Wow.
that are ready to
Nice.
go to be shipped.
They really are no joke aside. They are the perfect size.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
cool.
this is our-
bubble wrap. I
our
could do,
shipping station,
Could I do
yeah.
this part? You think?
So
I
don't
could
know-
bubble wrap.
I don't know if this is like industry standard, but I figured, you know, put it on the wall so it rotates when you need it.
I think it is.
And some paper here. I made all of these to what I think will be easy.
That's pretty
right, to
logical.
pull.
Holy moly! Somebody looking
that's-
to explore.
That is the line that we're setting up. That's why we have the
If
line
you
up.
use all that, you found a lot of cave passage. Look at that. I know we're going on a trip. I know I'm
Yeah.
going as well, and I know that's what we're preparing for. Let's show them what you made. So obviously it's a very cool warehouse. We have a little office part in the front. Then I'm going to show you Gus's invention on the line making. Yeah, you see, we're just moved in. It's a little cold in here. That's only one part I'd change.
I'm sweating.
Yeah, it's very cold in here, but that, you know. Oh, you got another sink over here you didn't talk about. Look at that.
Yeah,
So it's a
that's
great
the-
warehouse. We're set up. And by the way, we're going to manufacture way more than the Go. you can tell we've set this baby up to be
Dive Talk gear.
Dive Talk gear. So this is just the start. Okay. Now, for basically doing the line, this is exploration reels. Gus came up with this invention. You explain it. Why is this exactly this length to this length?
Yeah.
And this length to this length, and then ultimately, when do you stop and what do you do? Super cool.
So basically, when we are laying line in cave, in new cave, we're exploring, or we are replacing line that we lost the maps in or surveys in. They were explored like in the 80s and 90s or whatever. We use this line to lay the line and be able to count the distance. And we make a little knot on every 10 feet of the line. So what I did is this contraption that basically, if you have this black line here, I can draw another black line right here, and that makes it 10 feet. So all I do is once I have the two lines, I pull this side and I make a knot over that. And now if you come close here, you can see there's the sign, the mark that I made earlier. So I know that that's where the knot is gonna go, and that's where I tie it. And you can see now the knot is there, which means the next one is gonna be on the next mark, and so on and so forward. So every 10 feet we have a knot.
I was gonna make, something as well for that, but he did it.
I'm sure there's better ways to do it. This is just the way I came up with.
It's a great way.
It's not the fastest, but it's pretty effective.
So let's see, do a 10-foot the whole cycle through as if you're on your real speed. Do like we're not here. Let's see how fast
All right,
this
so
would go.
this is, I'm just gonna do 10 feet really quick for the camera.
All right, so he pulls it, and
So we find
he's
the
tied
marking.
that off, and then he'll wait for the next 10-foot black
Exactly.
mark to come to him before he ties the next one. So let's see.
Do we have any questions, by the way?
There have been a lot. I've just,
Oh, we're just not answering.
yeah, we also hope everybody here is safe from the storms. I'm really glad you guys mentioned that. Thank you. Okay, so let's see what happens. Okay, he's winding it, and he's hit
was
that
it,
spot.
10 feet.
So the 10-foot mark came to the other prong, marks that one.
This is a lot faster when you have help. Just saying.
Yeah. Last time I remember doing all of it, and he said, "Hey, try my machine." I said, okay, and boom. Awesome. There it is, right? And that's what we do when we survey. We're marking the surveys in 10 feet increments of like the direction. Obviously, if you're just going straight, you go back and survey and you count how many feet, how many 10-foot spots were there before the direction change, and then you write that down on this little surveying tool. And you say, whatever, 100 feet, it then changed to, and then you're carrying a compass with you basically, and you write down the new direction change. That's why we're marking every 10 feet. That's the purpose of that.
Let's answer some questions.
So far, there hasn't been any.
No questions? I'm blown away.
That thing ate that thing. A lot of people are enjoying that. I thought that's pretty descriptive.
That's the kind of expert commentary they keep
No,
coming
I
back
mean,
for.
no,
Yeah.
that's, I think it was spot on. That thing.
I think
ate that thing.
whoever was on the fence about subscribing, as soon as you said that expertise,
It's weird
they
I
were
saw
like,
it go
okay,
down.
I cannot not
I thought,
subscribe.
yeah, I saw it go down, and I just Google, doing it. It's weird that right when I said that, it just dropped quite a bit. A lot of people are asking about your weight loss. They're not asking about my back, which I'm in recovery,
What's
no
up with
problem.
that?
But they do care about your weight loss. Okay.
Well, thank you.
Where are you guys based? We are right here now in Kennesaw, Georgia. This is sort of a suburb area of Atlanta, a northern suburb of Atlanta, probably from like Buckhead area of Atlanta, call it like 20 miles north.
Let's say an hour from the airport.
One thing we did cover was the ability, hold on, the ability to manipulate. In my crossover training, this is Alex, one thing we did not cover was the ability to manipulate the Pro DSV. As Woody said, you can loosen or tighten the ability to fire with breathing in. Yeah, I'll show you what he's asking. So with the Pro, this one is the Pro one right here. It's very simple, just like any other regulator, right? You can turn this, makes it easier or harder to fire the DSV. Fire means when you pull in,
The ADV, yeah.
the ADV. When you pull in and you no longer have, you've collapsed your lungs, it'll fire the ADV and it'll bring in diluent. It'll bring in your diluent gas, which is connected, typically if your back mount is connected to your normal recreational setup. In this case, I was gonna do it, but Gus and Mike helped me instead, and they said, don't touch it. They've switched this to become a 100% oxygen rebreather. So when I suck in, it's going to only fire the oxygen. But I'm gonna basically be doing this on my couch. Or maybe go to the bottom of the swimming pool and get a little higher
PO2?
partial pressure, a little higher PO2, which is great for oxygen therapy. And then Mike said if you're doing like moderate exercise, like stationary bike, and you were breathing 100% O2, there's a lot of evidence showing that's great for wound healing. Okay, so that's what that's all about. That was a good question. I have a question. This is for Hypotaskin from Denmark.
Whoa.
What's the wood thing and rope for? Okay, and how's your back? My back is better. I just got back from PT. I could not walk, everybody, for 10 days. I'm not kidding you. Herniated L3 and L4 disc. I've been in rehab. It hurts, you know, always, but from a pain level of an 11, I'm down to probably living with a 3. In the mornings, it can be like a 4 or 5. This we just showed everybody, but for those just joining us, it's a invention that Gus made where it basically marks the line for every 10 feet, because when we're exploring cave, we want line to be in 10-foot increments as we're laying the line. And then we count how many 10-feet increments before another direction change when we're doing surveying. So you're surveying the cave. You're like, okay, it's been 100 feet at 180 degrees. Then it's another, then you count how many more feet was it until it changed direction, and you write that down, and then you can basically make a map out of that. I can explain it, but I can't probably do it worth a damn underwater. What is your favorite Florida cave, Gus? You want to answer that one? You got one?
I mean, it
Florida.
really depends on what we're doing. If you want a DPV, you know, it's different than if you want to just swim around. It's different than, yeah, it's really, really tough. I don't think I found one that I don't like.
That's a good answer.
So
I don't know. I don't know what it is about Little River. It reminds me of the Flintstones, for those of you that are a little older. It looks so like you live in a cave city, like you would picture the Flintstones. It's super cool. When you enter it, it kind of spirals down. It has flow, so it gives you action. You can use a DPV in it, and I got to admit, it's pretty fun to use a DPV. But there's a lot of beautiful caves in Florida.
yeah.
So that would be my answer. And let's see. I'm going through the questions. Yeah, simple and useful tool. It's great. It really does work great. How's your recovery been? Thank you for asking. Hard and slow and one step at a time. It's not easy, that's for sure. It's been pretty rough. I'm gonna put this down and try to set the camera up so you can
We
see
just
us.
can't really
see
see
us
the
both.
questions unless we're close. I can't read
Yeah,
them.
so I'll screen from here. I just didn't want to keep holding it, frankly. Gus, you're easier to understand now since you lost weight.
Really?
He said you had a lisp in the older videos. Really?
Damn, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. I thought I was the one that was difficult. Thank you, Chad. You should go scuba diving, though. I appreciate that you love the channel, but yeah. He's not a native English speaker. Well, that's true. He does remarkable. This was not his first language. He's from Venezuela originally. Let me see. I'm going to find some questions. Give me a second here. Have you tried the dry needling? I just had it today. And I have pictures of the dry needling. It was all down my ass.
Great.
No, I'm going to show you guys later my ass with dry needles in it. And then they electrocute it. So I want you to picture my ass, this little bony one,
Oh my God.
popping in and out like that. But I think it helps. Look, a lot of people have made comments. It's pseudoscience and all that stuff doesn't work. Here's my attitude. Number one, I'm willing to try anything. And number two, even if it mentally makes me feel better, so what? Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't.
Well, yeah, people are saying
That's
that.
okay.
People are saying that copying will give you momentary relief, but it's not really fixing the issue. But painkillers is the same.
Yeah.
When you're hurting, painkillers make the pain go away, but they're not fixing the issue. So
why not? I'm there anyway. I'm in the physical therapy. Even the PT, she's like, look, they've been using it for thousands of years. You want to try it? I'm like that. I'm like, yeah.
And overall, don't do it.
You don't have to do it. But when she asked me, do you want to try it? She said, I'm not saying you have to try it. Would you like to try it? And I'm kind of like that. I'm like, yeah, sure. Why not? Right? I mean, it didn't hurt me. So that's my attitude. Okay, Adrian's asking, Gus, hi guys, when could there be an instructor in the UK for the Go? That's a great question. We'll let Gus answer.
Now. I mean, if you're willing to come here and get certified with one of our instructor trainers, which by the way, Woody and I are not instructor trainers, okay? Not because we started the agency, people feel like, oh, I bet this guy's, are now instructor, evaluator, trainers or whatever. No, Woody and I, picked people who have been instructor trainers forever to be our first instructor trainers, and they are the ones that can certify instructors. So if you're willing to come to the US and get certified by an instructor trainer, or you're willing to pay for them to go to the UK to certify you, welcome to Dive Talk.
Yeah.
You can be an instructor.
We have some great instructor trainers and an instructor examiner, an instructor trainer examiner. You want to hear the names? I think they're pretty good. Ready for the names? Doug Ebersol. He's taught quite a bit of rebreather classes. He's an instructor trainer. I don't know if you think this guy knows a lot about the Dive Talk Go. His name is Mike Young, who invented it. Probably pretty good instructor trainer. And then he's kind of a good cave diver.
I've heard of him.
Ed Sorensen. So I feel pretty good. You're going to get great instructor training from our instructor trainers.
Yeah, and of course, there are some minimum requirements for instructors. You have to obviously be certified in the unit. You have to have a bunch of hours, depending on if you're already a rebreather instructor or not. So there's some other requirements, and we follow the standards set by RESA, the Rebreather Education and Safety Association, which all the other manufacturers follow. So it's the same standards. People feel like, oh, it's a new agency or it's a new rebreather. Are you guys doing the same? Yes, we are following the same standards everyone is following.
It's an absolutely great point. That we were really strict about it. We hired top-notch attorney in the industry, and we are dealing with RESA and making sure we comply with RESA, just like Gus said. Craig's just asking a question, Gus. Would it not be better if the knots were bigger, or does that not really matter?
It doesn't really matter on the water. You can feel the little ones.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to feel that. Katerina, the journey you've done in the past years is amazing. You have a warehouse and create your own gear. Amazing. Thanks. I mean, just to be honest, we have a lot of, Mike Young is with us. So what I mean by that is that we just have a partnership with Mike. Like I don't want you all to think Gus and Woody figured out how to make a rebreather. Right. I hope everybody survives. Like this
Good luck, everybody.
Yeah, good luck. Look at us. We put together some vacuum cleaner parts and an air conditioner. No, this is all Mike Young designed, independently tested. I don't know if we spend enough time saying that. Like, it's not us, our opinion on the work of breathing. We keep telling you the remarkable work of breathing, but that means zero, as it should. This is independently tested.
You know what's funny though? Some of the people that have said, well, what about the testing? Like, how do you guys do it? They want more information. They dive units that are currently available in the market that have never been tested.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I didn't even know that.
I don't even know how people can get certified in those units, but there are units right now in the market with Butsa Dima, like fully available, that have never been independently tested.
Well, that's not how we roll. We want to know the truth, right? Good or bad. Let's test it. Not by us, by the real machines that test this stuff. And guess what? not only was the work of breathing good, but yeah, I believe it was, from all that they've tested, the best work of breathing that they've ever seen. So I think Mike knows what he's doing. We're privileged to be partnering with him. Kim, let's see, I must have missed what you talked about. What happened to your back? Well, about almost 4 weeks ago. I'm not sure. I think it happened over time, but I herniated the L3 and L4 discs, had an MRI. Unfortunately, it's not a good kind of herniation, meaning 3% of all cases have it. It's a kind that you can bend forward. There's no ability to bend backwards right now, and it pushes straight down on the nerve that then goes right into my ass, leg, and knee. I could not, zero, wake up in the morning and stand up at all. It was really tough. Anyway, I think I may have done it wakeboarding. What has Gus been doing diet-wise? He's looking slim and great. I mean, he's just a machine, man. He puts his mind to something and he makes it happen. Okay, here we go. This is Yuri. This is for Gus. I have a question. Will people from outside US be able to get the Dive Talk rebreather? That's a great question for Gus.
You can order it today. I think there's like 20 or something countries in the world that we cannot ship to. Countries like, Syria and stuff like that. I know there's a list somewhere from the government we cannot ship to, but other than that, we can ship pretty much everywhere else. So there's like over 150 countries we can ship to today. So yeah, divetalkgo.com. Just go place an order and get certified. The problem is with shipping around the world is like, let's say you live in Malaysia and you want a unit. There's no current instructor in Malaysia or Singapore or anywhere there. So we can't send you a unit if you're not certified. We're really following that path of safety. So you can order from anywhere, but if you can't get certified, we can't send you the unit, so you're kind of stuck. And I think that that's what's slowing sales down globally. We do have an instructor trainer coming, who's going to be an instructor trainer in Europe and an instructor trainer in Asia that are coming to the States in late November. So we're pretty excited to start a footprint for people to get certified as instructors and as divers in Asia and also in Europe. So we're very excited. We actually have one instructor in Spain getting the hours to get certified, who came to the States to get certified. And then we have someone coming also from Europe to become an instructor trainer. So that's pretty good.
Awesome. We're expanding. It's really exciting. Giovanni, what is your favorite Florida dive spot? Well, if it's not cave diving for me, I happen to love that Jupiter area because I love the big animals. It's really loaded with bull sharks. It has like a rec trek, so we can do big, long drift dives. And honestly, my favorite diving, at least right now, is I just love easy diving. I really do. And that's why I love the Dive Talk Go. I can just put on my normal recreational back mount gear and just clip the Go. I wish I had it all here. I would just put it on. I just literally clip the Go, clip, clip. Or you see right here, ooh, I gotta go slow, my back's a little achy right now. Just imagine I can take this right here, and you just clip it on your D-rings, right on your rebreather. Clip, and clips, 2 clips on the bottom, 2 clips on the top, and go. Put it in your mouth and go. We also, if you don't have D-rings, like you're on a recreational BC that doesn't have a lot of D-rings, we have straps that Mike made that will basically strap onto you and then come under your legs and around your waist, so you can clip into the Go with these straps. There's a female and male end. Around your waist, you snap 2 in, and on your shoulders, you snap 2 in, and we even have one that comes up through your crotch strap. So no matter what system you're wearing, the Dive Talk Go is easy to clip on.
Yeah, and that is what makes it perfect for like your first rebreather. If you've never dived a rebreather, is because when you buy a rebreather, you typically have to buy all this other specialty equipment you're not used to, right? So for me, for example, when I started diving rebreathers with the Spirit, I had to buy an Alumin 40 and put it on the side, and the rebreather comes with another wing, and like you're learning all this equipment from scratch. Whereas with the Go, you literally are clipping something onto your existing gear. So everything else, you know where it is. You know where your cutting device is, your SMB, your regulator, your octo. You know where everything is. All you're doing is adding the go on your chest. And
it's weightless
you go.
underwater. I meant to tell you guys that I can't feel it, honestly, underwater. And I have found for me, I wear the exact amount of weight that I wear when I'm doing no rebreather. Like whatever your weighting is for a recreational BC back mount, like 80 cubic foot on your back, same weighting. For me, I haven't needed to change the weight at all, which is great.
yeah.
Jeremy, Little River is my favorite. Yeah, I know, man. I really love that cave. I really do. It's super fun. Let's see. Thank you guys. I'm reading the compliments. When are you all going to pan for gold again? I got a lot last time, so I'd love to do that again. That was awesome. I got lucky. Can we get Dive Talk dry suits? That is kind of a cool question.
Can we?
Well, not yet. I think that's the true answer, but I think that's the vision. Here we have a really beautiful warehouse now, and I think the vision is that we can do a lot more than just the rebreather. Our next real big focus, though, is getting Dive Talk Academy, the digital platform, launched. It's really remarkable. I don't think there's another learning platform in the dive industry like it. It's going to be amazing. You'll see. It's coming. We're working really hard on that starting next week.
And by the way, I just wanted to mention, because I did get this question, is Dive Talk Academy like approved or accepted globally? The short answer is yes. So I've used my car, which I posted a picture on the Facebook group for the Dive Talk Facebook group of, you know, when you fill the form, it's like your name or whatever, last time you dive, and then your certification card. Mine is easy to remember. It's number 2. So now it says like certification number 2. Super simple, nice. No problem. I've used it in multiple countries now. We have Henry, who travels all over the world, and he just used his card to sign up for the deep pool in Dubai, which are super stingy about certifications and, you know, and agencies and all of that. The reality is we want to be members of RSTC, the Recreational Scuba Training Council. But in order for us to be members of that, in addition to obviously following all the standards and all of that, which we're already doing, meeting or exceeding the safety standards and training standards of the agency, we have to have been doing it for 2 years to become what they call as an associate member, I believe, and 4 years to be a full member. So just like Patty and SSI and everyone else. So the earliest we can be members of RSTC rather is 2028, unfortunately. So we're just gonna have to wait. But don't you worry, by 2028 we'll be full-fledged RSTC members, just like Patty and SSI and everyone else.
And the reason, everybody, is like I'm about halfway done writing for Dive Talk Academy videos and all, just the basic entry open water course. Guess what standards that I'm following? RSTC, not Gus and Woody make new standards. So that's why we're not looking to change, but the technology, the process of learning on our platform, the ease of all that and paperwork for instructors, right? And the caliber of the instructors, we think is going to be phenomenal. But we are absolutely following the worldwide approved standards.
Yeah, and we're exceeding it in a lot of cases. So one of the questions that we get the most in Dive Talk is, how do I know if I have a good instructor? So we wanted to answer that question by saying, if your instructor is on Dive Talk Academy's site, then they are a good instructor. We think we're going to have the strongest, process to vet and qualify instructors in the industry, at least on the RSTC agencies. We've talked about how some of these agencies, like, you show up and as long as you pay, you become an instructor. That's just not gonna work with us. We want everyone to know that if you take a class with a Dive Talk Academy instructor, is a reputable instructor and someone who knows what they're doing. So our process to vet and verify instructors will be the strongest in the industry, and the standards that we're going to follow are going to either meet or exceed what everyone else is doing, the big agencies at least.
I can't wait for you guys to see the platform. You'll see what I mean by there's nothing like it. It's really innovative. Let's see. I'm gonna scroll. Lots of good wishes for all. Thank you all so much. How much would you say the average setup and class for an open circuit, open water cost? That's a good question. We've had it before. I will tell you that to get a full set of open water dive gear, we'll start with the gear and then we'll go back to the class. It's a big range. It really is, because there's stuff that's super expensive to super cheap, but a mid-level full kit, which is your BCD, your regulator, your dive computer. You're gonna need a wetsuit, a dive bag, a knife, probably we said the computer and all that. I mean, you're gonna be somewhere between, for an open circuit kit like that, $3,000 to $4,000 to $5,000, probably all in for an open circuit, really top-notch kit. Your instruction will be probably between the instructor, the digital platform, the instructor confined water, and then the instructor open water portion. That's probably going to run somewhere between,
Yeah, a few $100s for sure.
well, probably 1,000 or so by the time you do all the open water portion as well. And it's
because you have to pay to go somewhere to
trip
get the
and
open water. And
you got to pay for,
okay.
you got to
That makes sense.
you got to do, typically the standards are you got to do all your academics, a digital platform where you pass written tests. Then you have to do a confined water session for, I remember thinking maybe 5 confined water dives in the pool, confined water. Then you have to go and do 4 open water dives in open water. Each dive has different skills, and ultimately your final dive, you're done and you're certified to open water standards, which is typically a depth of 60 feet, and you're using air. That's what you're gonna come away with on your first certification. Let's see. Why do you cave dive? A couple of vids back, you brought up this question, but you never answered why. That's from Dayton. That's a great question. I'm gonna let Gus go. First, why do you cave dive? Why did you want to get into cave diving? Number one, I'll expand their question.
Yeah.
And then why do you love cave diving now so much that you have gotten into it?
I mean, I think I have a different answer than most people. You know, I think that it's the same question with why do you want to learn how to fly planes? And people are like, oh, because I want to be in the sky and feel free like a bird. I didn't feel like that at all. When I learned how to fly, it just felt like I was operating a machine in the sky. That's how it felt to me. So I love the equipment part of it, the learning how everything works, the mechanics. I love working on skills and getting better at it and being a better diver for my teammates. That's the part that I love about it. So I got into rebreathers because I love the gear portion of it. And then I realized that a lot of rebreather divers are cave divers. So I said, well, what does that look like? I don't want to dive in caves. Like, I was afraid of it, just like most people. And then I realized that in order for you to become a cave diver, it's a process like martial arts. You start like white belt and then you go to blue belt, and it's like little by little. You start with a cavern course. And I'm like, well, I've been diving caverns for a long time, you know, Blue Grotto, whatever. I'm not afraid of having something above my head if I can see the exit. So sure, let's learn how to do cavern diving. And I was blown away by the fact that in cavern diving, you learn like 90% of the things that you need to know for cave diving, right? A lot of the stuff, except for like navigation, at least on my class, Doug Eversole was my instructor. He taught me everything, line skills, you know, swimming with zero vis, like all of that stuff we did on a big giant cavern, not a tight cave. So then when I learned all those skills and I realized that, wow, like the skills really make you a much better diver, then it was like, okay, what does intro to cave look like? Now you're not going far in, you're going up to 1,000 feet, you're staying on the main line, you're diving all these caves that are pretty big, it's not intimidating, and then next thing you know, you're full cave diving, and then next thing you know, you're cave exploring. It's like everything is just like a progress, it's little by little. You don't go from like open water, I barely know what I'm doing, to cave diver. That's not how it works. So the reason I cave dive is because of the process. I love the process. I love looking at a map, understanding where we're going, understanding my sack rate versus the depth. Is there flow or not? Where are we going? Who's our plan? Who's our team? Who's doing what? Because everyone in the team has a different responsibility. I love doing that. And Woody knows this. I tend to pick the hardest things to do. Like We need to carry whatever 2 stages, give them to me. We need to do this line work, I'll do the line work. Like I try to push myself to doing all the work that no one else wants to do.
You really do.
Because I think overall it makes you better. There's no shortcut to being good. Like you can't look at Ed Sorensen and watch 3 videos and dive like Ed. Ed is Ed because Ed dives every day, right? You have to put in the work and you just got to do it. And it's one of the reasons why, for example, at the meetup, we do workshops like we're going to do a DSMB workshop. We're going to go to depth and launch your DSMB. And you're going to pick it up and we're going to do it again tomorrow. There's no shortcut. You need to do the work. And that's why I love cave diving, because I get to do the work.
That's such an awesome answer. Mine, believe it or not, is a totally different answer. So I was very close with Doug Ebersol, and he kept saying, look, you have got to see these caves in the Abacos. They're called the Crystal Caves because they're loaded with crystal, and I mean loaded. Walls, ceiling, floor, stalactites, stalagmites, halagtites. It's the prettiest caves, certainly that I've ever seen, both in photographs and in person. And Doug, and it happened to be at an Innerspace. This was a convention we had in the Cayman Islands, and Brian Kaycook was at that Innerspace. He was an invited guest. Got to talking with him. I was introduced to him by Doug, and Brian said, look, why don't you come to the Abacos? You can go from 0 to hero, and I was definitely at 0. It's going to be 11 or 12 days, very intense. But when you're done, you're going to get to graduate, and your graduation dive, you're going to get to go to Fanghorn Forest, and he told me all about it. And I'm like, the whole time I'm in this course, where I'm waking up at 7 in the morning, knocking on Brian's door, doing our 3 or 4 hours of academics, preparing the gear, doing the dive planning, go out, you have to do all the work in the cave. Started off in cavern, just like us. Past that class, then apprentice cave, then all the way, 11 or 12 days, I get to the very last skill. And you know I'm always honest on Dive Talk. If you don't screw up this skill, you pass and you get to go to Fanghorn Forest.
What do you think it happened?
It's an out-of-air drill that we've practiced. Now, but the fact that I know it's coming, I'm pretty nervous, right? Doug's with me, like, Woody, don't screw this up. I have my camera, and if you don't screw it up, we all get to go to Fanghorn Forest. Brian comes up. He's out of air. What do? I pass him there, and I put him behind me. You freaking moron. He taught me 100 times. Put that diver in front of you. Different than Ed, by the way, who does put the diver behind you. But it doesn't matter. I was trained to put the diver in front of me. I just had a moment of spazzing out. And he's underwater. I hear a few words. And I'm like, oh, shit. We go up. I come up slowly, right? You're breaking the surface. You know it. You've got to face the music. And he goes, oh, how do you think that went? And I'm like a dog. Like, not so good, sir. We're going to do it again, but first we're going to practice again on land for the 900th. We do it again. I nail it. I mean, really, really well the final time. Like, he's like, yeah, you got this. That was flawless. We're going to Fanghorn Forest. And I cried. Literally, when I got to Fanghorn Forest, it's a long dive. It's a stage dive.
Yeah.
It's so far, you got to bring extra air. I got there. Brian points to the sign, Fanghorn Forest. You made it. In my mask, I'm crying. That's how hard the 12 days were. So I went for that. But then what I found is I'm now getting the privilege to dive with what I consider some of the best divers in the world. Gus and I often say it's like getting to play golf with Tiger Woods. Well, we get to dive with the Tiger Woods of diving. And it did make me a better diver. It did. It absolutely did, for sure. So that's both of our stories. It's long, but we both have different stories. And it's great. We share this together. Okay, so that was a great question. It took a lot of time because it's That's a big one. Gus, they said you're going to be on OnlyFans soon. I don't know what it is, but I'll join. I'll watch you. What if it's a good channel?
What?
I am getting my ass poked and my ass electrocuted.
That's
So they poke my ass and
time
then
to
they
wrap
shoot
this up.
electric in. I'm telling you the truth. They poke my ass and then they electrocute my ass. Somehow that is helping my back.
By the way, I think I saw a super chat earlier. So
I'm
thank
trying
you
to
whoever
find
that
it.
was.
There is one, and I'm scrolling.
Well, I always tell people the easiest way. Look, it's not that we don't want to answer your questions. There's no like questions that are out of the ordinary. We'll answer whatever, but there's so many of them. So the easiest way to get your question answered is to do a super chat. You don't have to do $100 or whatever. But if you do a super chat, it will highlight it big time on our site so we can see it. Right? It just pops up and it's easier to see it. So that's just a life hack that I'm giving you.
This is a good question, Alex. Any concerns about an increased chance of DCS with a back injury? I'm asking because I also deal with long-standing exercise-managed back injury. I've asked my doctor. He's probably the leading doctor in the Atlanta area on this particular injury, and he said absolutely. There's been no correlation whatsoever. Just don't overwork yourself. If you feel pain in that dive, stop. Like it's not, you're not bettering it. Oh, if I better it, it's like a muscle, and if I strain it, it'll get better. Oh, somebody said the signal is terrible. I'm inside of the Dive Talk studio. I don't know how to,
Are you in Wi-Fi?
no.
Oh, you're not in Wi-Fi. Oh,
I'm just
well.
on my, well, I don't know if I can.
Switch to Wi-Fi. Well, let's just answer like a couple more
All
questions.
right,
We've been at it for a while.
I'm going to find some questions. Give me a second. Just a lot of compliments. Are you from Caracas
No,
or Maracucha?
I am from Maracaibo.
Okay. Speaking of training, I would love to dive, but can't seem to clear my ears. Too painful. Any tips or tricks? I find that certain positions while I'm diving, I don't know why, make it easier or harder. If I'm in a slightly head down position, just slightly, I find it easier for me to clear. Also, I don't know if it's myth or if it's fact, but if I rub kind of where the eustachian tubes are, I feel like they loosen up. And I think over time it gets easier. The shallower you are, the harder it is to clear. So I don't know if I don't know if that was a good answer, but I'm looking for, I'll let Gus answer this. What was some of your biggest learning moments during a dive, Gus?
I mean, I think it depends on the dive. The one that I learned the most was to be a little more vigilant. On a dive that we did with Mehdi at Hole in the Wall, I think it was. I was just running behind him, and there's a dip, a hole in the wall. You go under like a ledge. It's like a big rock or whatever. You go under, and the bottom is mud. And something happened with Mehdi. He lost, you know, I think he hit the DPV too early, and that mud just splashed in my face, and it just shut the lights off completely. And when you learn how to cave dive, they teach you something called line awareness, which is you don't have to be on the line because we're not line divers, we're cave divers, but to know, be aware where the line is. And I'm constantly, as I'm going in a dive, I'm constantly knowing that, okay, the line is bottom right, top left, whatever. I have it in my mind. I'm making a map as I'm going, because if the lights go off right now, I need to be able to know where the line was so I can go find it, because I'll be in zero vis. So in that dive with Mehdi, I knew that the line was in the left at like this height. Like when I'm diving, I'm like, it's around this height right here. Mm-hmm. So the lights go off, and I do this, and there's nothing. So I do this, and there's nothing. And I do this, and there's nothing. And I'm like,
not a good feeling.
Where is the line? But then you remember that you're on a rebreather, and you have hours to figure this out. So like worst case scenario, I was going to just sit there for an hour to wait until the silt would go down and then find the line. That was the worst case scenario. But what I decided to do is, based on my line awareness, I know that this line keeps going straight because I didn't see a turn or anything. So I'm just going to stay straight. So I just hit my DPV, put my hand in front of my head to protect my head because I was in zero vis. And I was just doing like 2 out of 10 speed, so very, very slow. And just kept going slow, slow, slow. And all of a sudden, visibility started coming back. I saw Mehdi's light, I saw his fins, I saw the line, and I was back on the dive. So that's one thing that I learned, is to not take it for granted, you know, really pay attention to where the line is.
Yeah.
That worked.
I was on that same dive. I was guy number 3. So I saw exactly 0 when I hit that spot. When I say 0, not even my dive computer. They silted it out so bad. I'm just like, immediately I found the line, immediately. And by the way, the reason it may not have been where Gus thought, it was in the dirt.
Yeah.
It was literally in the dirt. So I grabbed the line in the dirt and kind of pulled it up, and I went, if there was anybody behind me there, I was dragging low on the dirt with my DPV. It must have just been, I must have silted out the whole cave for a week, because I mean, no way I'm letting go of the line, and it's down in the dirt. That was a cool experience though, because we both just, it's fine. We have the line. We're gonna meet.
Yeah.
And when it gets clear, it will get out of that if you stay on the line.
Another lesson that I learned on a dive with Benjamin. So the story is, I wanted to do Woody's room at Peacock Springs, which is a cave system in Florida, for my 100th cave dive. So your 100th cave dive is like a special thing. Like, I know in open water, when you get to your 100th, people say, it's like, oh, you have to do it naked, and they do like this funny thing. In cave diving, it's actually like a big thing. It's like a celebration, like, wow, you made it to 100 cave dives. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a lot of diving, especially when you dive rebreathers. So you get to pick, you know, and people kind of support you. Like, if I tell Woody for my 100 dive, I want to do it Little River, let's do it a Little River. Like, there's no discussion. You kind of honor what the person doing the 100 dive wants. And on my like cave dive number 8 or something like that, Woody and I and Brian try to get to Woody's room. And we realized that it was way harder than we thought. It was way tighter than we thought. We were all diving back mount rebreathers. We were on spirits, like scraping the ceiling. Like, it was terrible. We turned around, aborted the dive, like halfway through Woody's room, which I'm glad, because knowing what I know now, we would have been stuck big time. Like,
Definitely,
really bad.
Definitely.
So I'm glad we turned around in zero vis. It was like, I remember getting out of there and looking at Woody and be like, whew. Like, that was sketchy, dude. But anyway, so for my 100 dive, I wanted to go to Woody's room. And I learned my lesson from the first dive, in which all 3 of us hadn't been there and didn't know how far it was, how tight it was gonna be. It was just like our first time. And so I partnered up with Benjamin Woodall, who had tried to go to Woody's room twice and failed. Also got stuck, his body got stuck, something happened, and he failed. So I'm like, okay, you've been there, or you've been close to it. I want to partner up with you. So Benjamin says, look, because I don't know how you do with tight caves, because it's gonna get really tight, I'm gonna send you through an unmarked tunnel that there's an unmarked tunnel that I found at Peacock Spring. It's not in the map, but it's super tight. If you can make it through there, I'll feel confident enough to go to Woody's room with you. So I'm like, okay, how bad can it be? Bro, to this day, is the sketchiest thing I've ever done on the water. Like, at some point, I was so like tangled in rock, like all this rock, like under my armpits and everything. And I'm just there like if I was in like barbed wire, like I couldn't move. And I'm like, why did I listen to Benjamin to begin with, who's notorious for liking sketchy stuff? And why is this a test? Like, Woody's room is not this tight. But anyway, so I fought and like pushed this rock away from here and like this all the water, whatever. I finally made it out, and Benjamin was so happy when I came out of that tunnel. He was like, I can't believe you did it. So now I feel confident to go to Woody's room with you. So lesson learned, well, 2 lessons. Number 1, if you're gonna do something like that, try to go with someone who's done it, rather than just you trying it for the first time without knowing. And number 2, don't trust Benjamin when he says, follow me into this one. I learned that lesson the hard way. All right.
Yeah. Woody's room.
Last question.
I went with Gus. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
and then you went with me, but I had been there, and you saw it was like a non-issue.
It was great.
We
I
knew
loved
what to
it.
expect.
I honestly absolutely loved it. It was fantastic. We'll take one more question.
Yeah, just one more.
Everybody go to divetalkgo.com. Just look at our rebreather. You may not even be into it. Just the site itself is so cool. Let's see.
And tomorrow, meetup
Where is the
announcement.
best to figure out how to register and get certified? Josh is asking. I tried digging into getting certified for the Go. I'll tell you what, if you guys want more information on that, I'm happy. On Dive Talk Go, you can download a bunch of stuff, but we're going to make that all easier. That tells you the process. You can get the manual. You can get the standards. And then talk to one of our instructors. I'm happy to hook you up with one, and they can walk you through the entire process.
Yeah.
The best email for that.
Just info@divetalk.com.
Yeah, go to info@divetalk.com. Tell us that you want to be introduced to an instructor. We have some great ones that'll
This process is going to be a lot easier once the academy site is up. You're going to be able to see them all in the app, find an instructor close to you, when they're going to be teaching, how much the class is going to be. You'll be able to do everything through that, but we're still working on that. So for now, you can just email us and we'll help you.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for asking that question. Let's see. Well, I'm scrolling far this time to go near the. Okay, Game Dave, happy Sabbath, Woody. If you follow and hope you recover soon, fella. Always nice to get to say hey. Thank you so much, and thank you for that super chat. Thank you very much. And I'm scrolling really far. Give me 1 second, everybody. I'm going to do one more question. Provoke. Hey guys, currently I'm with GEU, but they don't teach the CCR I want. I've heard Occam does teach on KISS rebreathers. Would you recommend them? Yes.
Yeah, Occam is
Absolutely yes. Easy. Easy.
Man, there's a lot of questions.
There's so many questions.
By the way, tomorrow we're announcing the meetup next year. Please be there. It's going to be awesome.
Who knows? Maybe we'll see that thing eat that thing at the meetup. We're both pilots. We both enjoy that type of training. It's funny enough, we are both pilots, or trained to be pilots. Let's see. Guys, I think we're going to wrap it up. So, okay, welcome to the first tour of Dive. By the way, the serial number of this one, I don't want you to be jealous, Gus. I was just noticing mine's 001.
Yeah.
The Dive Talk Go. I'm going to leave you guys wanting this. Email us. We'll give you tons of info. We'll connect you with people that are great with it. DiveTalkGo.com, info@divetalk.com. The meetup registration is being announced tomorrow. There you go. And see you on the next one.
We'll see you guys.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in.